Live on stage, the sound.
Orlando!
So, is they ready? The sound.
Orlando!
Hey, what's going on, my party people, man? Yo, so honored to have this next guest on. We've been waiting for a minute, man. He'll tell you. We missed the time for him to come on in January, and here we are in April, coming back to bring this motherfucker on. This is my dude. I can't even say that I started off my rap, my music career without him. That would be a bold-faced lie. I started my career with him and Smooth J Smooth, and it's just always an honor to be able to bring the story of Orlando to the forefront. And this is one of those guests, man. He has done so much with his career. He's won a Grammy for the Ludacris album. He's done work with DJ Khaled, which, for those that don't know, the Hitmen were a lot of the reasons why we even had hip hop in Orlando. Every event I was there. It was an honor to be there. Truth be told, for a lot of people, they were rivals, and they were honorable rivals, because for everything that they were doing, they inspired other people to do what they did. And without them, I think Orlando would be at a deficit. He's one of my heroes, and truth be told, I'm so honored to just feel like he is a friend. Mr. Nasty Beatmaker, shout out to his brother. Shout out to DJ Caesar, Hitman DJs. They've done so much for the city, and I am honored to bring on my brother, the one and only Nasty Beatmakers himself, DJ motherfucking Nasty. Let's go.
God damn, man. You almost made me cry, bro.
Dude, like,
that was heartfelt, bro.
When I think of our history, dude, when I think of what you guys were able to do for the city in a time in which was completely and utterly racist. They didn't want anything with the title hip hop or urban, and you guys put up your own dollars. You figured out ways to buck the system, and you did it successfully. All those Lebanese shows, all the shows on Kirkman, just all the shows that you were always like, who the fuck is these guys? And we would always be there. And I know we was a problem, but it was just, like, you still showed us love. You never made us feel like we wasn't shit because we want y'all. It was just a beautiful moment in Orlando hip hop history, and I was so honored to be there. And I didn't know the gravity of what that meant because we were all in it at the time. But yeah, I mean, I thank you guys, man, for really doing what the fuck y'all did, because y'all gave us a voice in a time that we all needed a voice, and it was dope. It was fucking dope.
Thank you.
So salute, my brother.
I appreciate that. Thank you for having me on the show. Thanks for bearing with me. You know what I'm saying? I know we got scheduled a couple times.
Right, but that's all good, man. Shout out to Jesse Jazz. I know this motherfucker here was like, "What the fuck? You ain't going on? What do you mean? We gotta wait till this?" Like, so Jesse Jazz has been a proponent for this moment. So kudos to you. Shout outs to you, Jesse. This is for you tonight, bro. Before we get into it, I know you're part of the Oak Ridge Boys, that Oak Ridge High, that whole
Dr. Phillips.
legacy, and Dr. Phillips, right.
Yeah.
But talk about what that was like growing up in that day when there was there wasn't so many DJs, there were just so many legends that we look at back now. There was the Magic Mikes, there was the Richard Rays. I mean, you were able to go to school with a lot of these people early.
I didn't go to school with them. They're older than me, but I went to their parties.
Right. Okay. Right.
I was inspired by a guy named Tony Touch.
Shout out to Toka, bro. Yes, Toka was down here
He's
too.
Really, the one who inspired me like crazy to really go hard and sharpen my skills. You know, he was just all that, bro. Like he played everything. Back then, you had to play hip hop, R&B, reggae, freestyle, house. Like back then, you had to be a well-rounded DJ, and he did all that.
Right.
I was like,
right,
this guy's crazy. And you know, I was like a big fan of New York music, and he was from New York, so I was like, damn, I want to be like this guy. He's like killing it. So I would go to his. If he was at a club, I would just follow, just learn. You know what I'm saying? Kind of understand how he does what he does. And shit, now he's one of my good friends.
Ain't that crazy, dude? And when we talk, shout out to Tony Toka, Tony Touch, man. Like, for a lot of people, we didn't realize, and who really does at the end of the day the significance of artists before they make it big, right? We're always kind of like, okay, I know that nigga. You know what I'm saying? But it's never really like, you know, you don't realize the gravity of knowing somebody or coming up with them until you realize what they brought to the table. And so shout out to Tony Touch, because not only was he a legend here, even before he ever became the legend in New York, but, you know, he just, to this day, he's revered as one of the legends, not only for like DJs, but Puerto Ricans. And, you know, shout out to all my Latinos out there. You know, we always have like the edge on us. You know, I know you being Cuban, me being Puerto Rican, you know, a lot of times it feels like, you know, the odds are stacked against us in a way sometimes, because they always try to put us in that box. But like yourself and Tony, y'all didn't believe in any of those boxes. Y'all was like, man, fuck that. We gonna do this. You know, talk about those parties and what that meant to you, going to those Tony Touch parties.
Everything, man. It meant everything. You know, I would go to Tony Touch parties. I would go to Rich and Ray parties, Twice as Nice. I never got to go to Magic Mike parties. I just got his like the tapes, and I would listen to him on was it WOKB or W, or I would listen to him on one of them AM stations, and he would just kill it, bro. Then finally hearing his records and all that stuff, it was unbelievable.
And I tell people all the time, man, Magic Mike put out these hip hop mixtapes back in the days that I would compare to anyone that ever did a hip hop mixtape. Like, they were so dope. Like, I felt like I was like, I either felt like I was in the Bronx, or I felt like I was in Liberty City. And like, he was able to kind of blend all of them together to make it feel like home. And if anybody knows who those fucking hip hop Magic Mike tapes are, please, because we grew up in that time where them mixtapes was everything, man. Like, Magic Mike was sick even before all the world got to know who the fuck Magic Mike was. was, right?
Nah, he was crazy, bro. Crazy the way he cut and scratch and oh man, even the way he put it together, you know.
Right. So, given that we had that tutelage in the scratching, in the turntablism, talk about that.
Back then. Back in the days, it was all you had to have skills, and it was it was a lot of DJs like it is now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, and if you were a DJ, you know, you were special. You had to be special.
Right. Right. And you had to have the records. That limited you. Right.
Yeah.
You had to have the records.
I didn't have access to the records.
Right.
If you down a record, you had to freaking go all around town seeing if you can find that record, you know?
Right. Talk about what it was for you to make that purchase. Who made that purchase for them 2 turntables? Because when I met your motherfucking ass, you were probably one of the few people that I ever knew with 2 turntables outside of the obviouses, the legends. But you had your turntables first.
I had to get a job. You know, I was 15 years old, got a job at Sbarro's, and was super dedicated on trying to get some equipment. So I already had a belt drive turntable that I think my mom had got me for Christmas. I think it was like a Pioneer belt drive turntable, a real turn, like something with pitch control and all that. So I was trying to save up to get a Technics 1200, and I finally got one. And then after I got that, you know, of course, I was borrowing people's equipment till I got my own gear. Then I finally got enough money to buy a realistic mixer. I don't know if y'all remember that Radio Shack had.
Right, you already know, bro. Shout out to Radio Shack, brother.
It had a click in the middle. So when I was DJing, there was always that when you go to side to side. I was like, oh my God, I hated that. But that's how I started. One Technic 1200, realistic mixer, and then a belt drive turntable. So I would do everything on my left side when it comes to speeding up the music to make it match with the standard same tempo belt drive. So, yeah,
right, and that forced your ass. And I see it today, and I still ask myself, like, that nigga don't love any kind of battle formation. He'll do it, but that's not his thing. Like, you still DJ in the form of the Technics from the beginning. And I think that's dope, man, because for a lot of people, including myself, like, once I realized I could turn them damn turntables and do it battle style, things just became easier for me. But talk about what that was to learn the long way of doing things, and just kind of having those turntables.
I have them battle style at my house. I do
have you do? You finally do? Mm-hmm. You finally do?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, you know, battle style is you can move quicker, you know. You can move quicker.
Right. But you was doing that shit long time, bro. Long time, bro.
I had a regular standard way.
Standard way.
I didn't like the tone arm in front of me like that.
Right. Talk about
in my studio, so I got them battle style.
Right. Talk about what that was like learning that way to DJ and for all the youths in them out there that may not know the thought pattern behind that. Talk about what that is to do it that way.
Yeah, just having them battle style makes you move quicker through records and get to your cue point quicker as well. You know what I'm saying? Back in the days, there was no Serato, so you had to use vinyl. So if you wanted to get to certain parts of the record, you would want to cape them battle style, you know what I'm saying? So you can get to everything quicker. Even doing back to back, you know what I'm saying? When you're battling, you can catch the record quicker when it's so close together instead of the way they're separated longer. You know,
Right.
I
But
was,
you mastered that.
no, I
Like
did.
the people looking at you was just like, why is he doing this the hard way? And you seem
Everybody,
so comfortable, right? You seem so comfortable doing it. Like nobody ever even said anything against it, other than if they had to come behind you or before you, like just come on, dude, like put the turntable the right way. Um, but you mastered it in a way that seems like you don't even put that much energy into it. I
yeah,
think that I think that's dope. Like to this day, when I see you scratching, like it just reminds me of like when we were kids.
I
Um,
appreciate
and that's crazy because like we both hip hop, right? And there's not too many things that could surprise us or make us feel like, okay, boom, this is wow, like a wow moment. But to this day, when I watch you DJ, I'm like, this thing is still DJing like he was with Smooth J Productions. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, um, now talk about when you started DJing. Talk about the moment that you wanted to DJ as far as being like a musician with a rap group. Um, Obviously, I'm talking about Smooth J Smooth, but talk about what it was to kind of translate that over as not only a performance DJ for yourself, but to use it as like a musician would with a guitar. Talk about that. What inspired you to do that?
I mean, truth be told, I tried to freaking play the snare in high school, but that didn't work out. So, you know, I want to be really a musician. Both my brothers are musicians, you know what I'm saying? Lenny plays guitar, drums, Freddie plays the bass guitar. So, you know, I grew up in a musical family, and I would sneak into the room. My brother Freddie would always have turntables in his room. He would make these cassette tapes, and he had the real good turntables. And I would go in there and just mess around with it. And he would have the mixer there as well. And I just had a love for music, and you know, and just watching videos and seeing the DJs flashing everybody just killing it on the turntables. That made me want to take the turntable and become you know, we are musicians in a sense, you know.
Right. Right, we are. And once again, this is why I say I'm glad I know you because when we tell our stories, um, the DJ was so important back then. Like if you had a good DJ, if you had a good um, the DJ was the music.
Mm-hmm.
So if the DJ put in the right beat, they were responsible for the beat. Even if they didn't make the beat, they just had to have the beat. And you seem to be on the cusp of knowing what was what early.
Yeah.
Early. Like you knew what sounded good, what sounded like, a true representation of Orlando. And what was that like for DJing for Smooth J Smooth at a time where we were still trying to figure out what our sound was and incorporating that? And I remember I was talking to Smooth J Smooth not too long ago. He was telling me, you're a threat out in this city. And people were fucking worried. Like, and the legends that we thought we knew were worried. Were legends. They weren't even worried. Talk about what that was. And I say that with all due respect because you were the threat. You were the new wave. I know that because I was a part of that new wave here in Orlando as well. And I know what that new wave meant to a lot of the establishment. They looked at that like, okay, what's this young kid talk about? What's this young kid trying to do? And you were on you knew they shit, and you was on some next shit too. Talk about what that was like and the vibe in the city when everybody knew DJ Nasty?
I mean, yeah, I mean, you probably can explain it better than I can. I mean, it felt good. I was just making my mark in the city. You know what I'm saying? The parties, um, making my mixtapes, just circulating through these high school and everybody talking about it. You know what I'm saying? And then transcend into the Hitmen, and Caesar and Khaled wanted to, join forces with me. Of course, salute
And I'm
to,
glad you mentioned all of them
Julian.
because I know
his interview.
Because I know at the end of the goddamn day, and I can only base it on what I've witnessed.
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew you before they came in the picture. And when I seen what you were doing early, right. And when I seen what you were doing early, I was like, this nigga here is gonna be a father of a lot of people. And you gonna build and you're gonna inspire a lot of people. You did that. I watched it in real fucking time.
Thanks.
That's not my job to say it or or verify it, but I'm saying it because it's real. Like there's no way I could tell my story and be honest with my story without telling your story. And I'm telling you, dude, I watched you in real time bring these two people and like you shared certain skills that even to this day you didn't even know you had because they do their thing differently. Like Khaled was a mic guy and he didn't even know it.
Mm-hmm.
Caesar was a blank guy and he didn't even know it.
Yeah.
And they took certain things from you that you didn't give them like personally, but they took based on your tutelage and what you were giving to them. And but I remember the foundation. The foundation was you.
Yeah.
You fathered a lot of what people were able to kind of go on and become, legends and based on what you gave and you gave freely. There's plenty stories that could be told about Nasty, but I know one story about you, and you were a giver. You definitely were a giver. You gave these two motherfuckers some things in which to this day is seen, and you never kept it back. You never held it back, and I respect you for that.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Because there's a lot of people out here that would never give those things, even if they didn't know what they were giving. They wouldn't give those things unless it was based on such and such. You give some money, you give some bitches, whatever. Right. Like you gave it during a time in which we all needed it. And we didn't even know we needed Hitman until y'all showed up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy.
Talk about that. Talk about how Hitman formed. And did y'all know it would be what it would be? I mean, I'm talking to headquarters right now. Like there's no tell me, nigga, like did you see that blowing up or being what it was?
No, man. We just
when you did it?
We loved DJing and we just loved hip hop. And we loved music because it wasn't just hip hop, it was like house, it was reggae. Really our parties were hip hop and reggae heavy, you know what I'm saying? R&B came with it. But we were really into the hip hop and we were into like, I guess you call it breaking records now, you know what I'm saying? We would have always the new hottest, just played music. We didn't play it because it wasn't played on the radio or the video was out. We played records that if it felt good, you just play it, you know what I'm saying?
And I have to interrupt you here, bro, because I mean, looking back at it, like I said, bro, you just is much as my family as my own damn children. Like, you know, we didn't even know we needed it, and you guys provided it. I have to ask you yet again to give us insight on the idea of what breaking records is, because you can't do that now. You do that.
Yeah.
But for the majority of DJs, because you make the records,
Right.
but for the majority of DJs, they're not making those records like that. They're just playing the records.
Right.
Talk about what that was like at a time in which Orlando was a very convoluted place. At the time, we were being bombarded with the idea of black music and the idea of we couldn't have that downtown. We couldn't have that at the 317, and if we did, we're only gonna play 20 minutes of it.
Wow, damn, you took me back with that. You're so right. They
20 minutes. 20 minutes, and it's gonna be the wackest records you ever heard in your life. It's gonna be a mockery of what you thought hip hop was, just to shut you up. And I know I wasn't the only one, because I was a dancer. I was out there. You know, we were all outside most of our lives. We were everywhere. Even if we had beef with people, it never mattered. We were always everywhere. Everyone was gathered for this thing called hip hop. And just talk about that.
Yeah, I remember the way we were alienated when it came to hip hop. It was like hip hop was like, Jesus, like it was like a bad thing if, you know, we wanted to play it, you know, or wanted to hear it at an establishment. And yeah, 317 was one of those establishments because they were all about house music. And it was the first time we had like a New York club downtown Orlando. But, you know, of course, it was a house club. But they did eventually let me do a hip hop night. I think it was on Sundays. And that's when we started rocking out and doing our, well, not we. I think it was just me. There was no hitman.
Right. Yo, I was there.
Yeah.
And to your point, you didn't do that easy. You didn't do that easy, brother.
No. Yeah,
they didn't want us out there. They didn't want our color out there.
They didn't want hip hop out there, period.
Period.
Downtown Orlando. You know, that was like one of the first clubs to start doing it. But I mean, I don't think it was a racist thing. I just think it was people didn't want that music. They thought that music attracted you know, drama.
Right. No. You're wrong about it. You're wrong about it, but they did.
All of our hitman parties eventually ended up with a fight.
No. I'm not going to agree to that because I was there. Not only let me
take it back. I'm not going to say it ended in a fight, but you know, every once in a while there was some fights.
No, you're right. But there's the majority of the things that you guys threw had niggas out there building. We were all out there building.
Great energy,
man. There was so many friendships. There was probably people that got married behind your fucking events. Like there were so many like hookups involved with your events. And when I think of your events, I never seen or never associated with violence or somebody getting shot.
No, never.
Right. I don't ever feel like there were fights because one, it was Mills. Two, it was the Lebanese. And then three, like you had to park in the neighborhood or you had to park in the hall parking.
No, it was crazy. The great thing is we knew everybody. We knew all the rowdy kids and we knew all the good kids. And most of the rowdy kids, they respected us and they knew, look, if you guys fuck this up. We ain't gonna have nowhere to do these hip hop parties.
Right. And everybody was
every month. Y'all are feeling like this. For when's the next hip man party? When is it? And we said, yo,
everybody was cognizant of that. I knew all the crazy motherfuckers, and they weren't trying to fuck it up. And I knew all the motherfuckers that would just cover the party, and they weren't trying to fuck it up. It was so dope. Like, it was almost like going to like this, like, what's that school in New York for music?
Juilliard.
Juilliard. It was almost like going to Juilliard for Orlando, because we knew we got class on this date, and so we all of us, like, we were all trying to make sure that nobody fucked it up. So even the people that were even there to fuck shit up, there was a conversation that I witnessed at least once where, yo, nigga, you ain't finna fuck this up for everybody. Chill out with that shit. Go sit down somewhere and yo, chill out, bro, because this is bigger than you. And I thought that was dope, man. And back to the racism shit. And I know you're being politically correct, which you should be. So you don't have to say it. But I know, being a kid that grew up downtown, I grew up downtown.
Yeah.
Fucking 8, 9, 10 blocks from Central and Orange. I grew up there all my life. And I know when this thing of ours called hip hop came out, there was a resistance to it. There was not only resistance to it from our people that loved hip hop, but there was also a resistance from people that were from here that felt some kind of way about it. Like, they felt like the people that represented hip hop when they came down here made us feel like idiots. They called us Bamas. And they didn't want shit to do with what we were talking about.
Yeah.
And so there was a divide, and that made people that weren't necessarily into hip hop form their own shit, because they were like, man, fuck downtown. They didn't want us down there, fuck them. So they developed places like Touch of Class, Rainbow, Heroes, Breakfast Club, JJ Whispers, because it was so blatant. They didn't want our black asses down there. They didn't. I mean, I spent most of my life downtown, catching the buses, going to the library, going to the Exchange. Shout out to anybody that knows or remembers the Exchange. Like, that whole place didn't want us down there. They just didn't. And whenever we did get our presence down there, it was like, remember. I had DJ Laz on not too long ago, and I forgot Deco's was before Zuma Beach. And I thought Zuma Beach was before Deco's, and he's telling me, and I'm like, dude, are you for real? And he was right. Deco's was before Zuma Beach.
We did that's when we knew we made it. After we graduated from Lebanese and from what's the other place on Kirkman Road? Rotary Club.
Rotary.
We made so much noise that they were like,
nah, y'all niggas, y'all niggas should have that shit like in some kind of like thumbnail of or bullet points of how do you market with nothing? Because you guys, the ability, like the flyers, Jesse Jazz, maybe you probably still have those flyers.
I got them all.
Right. All of those fucking flyers, it didn't hit everybody, but it hit the right people. And all of those people came to your shit.
That's crazy.
Just cause.
Cal is still cursing me out to this day about, yo, man, I used to be the only one out there passing out flyers. You never wanted to pass out flyers. I was like,
man, dude, you had them flyers.
I was like the ringleader, man. Come on, man.
Dude, you had all the flyers was in the right hands, bro. Because those people brought 4 or 5 people, and it was just so dope. Like everybody knew, like to your point, it was like 4 weeks apart.
Yeah.
But everybody knew like that was the only hand round we were gonna get for another month. And
we the flyers were special too. People wanted to keep the flyers because they were so artistic and they were such a vibe. And shout out to Neil Heflin for that, because he was the creator of our flyers, and it would take us a while to get our flyers. Sometimes we have to sit there with him like, yo, we need the flyer, blah 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 blah. It wasn't like he was getting on a computer typing it up and all this. No, he was actually doing
it. Like they wrote that shit back in the day with the Kinko's.
And we set a trend with that, and then everybody started trying to follow that formula as well.
Right. What's the Kinko's y'all went to? Did y'all go to OBT?
Huh?
Y'all went to OBT Kinko's?
Oh yeah, we went to OBT. We went to the downtown one. Yeah, OBT Kinko's. We were always there.
Right. It took a company to print your shit, and then
it was a lot of work
to everyone. Right.
A lot of work, for sure.
And going back to the events,
young entrepreneurs. We were early entrepreneurs when it came to that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We had a business model early.
Going back to those events and what that was, I'll ask you again, Nasty. Did you know the impact that would have on the entire city?
No, I had no clue. But to this day, people still say, yo, I used to love the Lebanese parties. I always get that. I'm like, damn, taking me back on that one. But yeah, man, I ain't know it would have that big of an impact. But it's true. There was no hip hop in Orlando at that time. You know what I'm saying?
None. You know that. And I'm talking about
there was bass music. I think bass music, they had a platform because we were in the South.
No, they had a platform. It just wasn't in downtown. Yeah, it just wasn't in downtown. Right. No, like you had to go to.
And our parties were really hip hop. If you went to Magic Mike party, they were hip hop, but they were a lot more bass music. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And you had to go outside of downtown. We were all put out of downtown, like all of us. Disco wasn't playing down there. All of our heroes when we think about the DJs that were here from the beginning, none of them were getting played downtown. Like that downtown, which is the center of the city, didn't want black people down there at all. They wanted our dollars. No, I'll give them that. But they didn't want us down there. And they said a million excuses. They would say we would bring drama, to your point. They said we bring shootouts, to your point. And so we had to look at other alternatives. That's where the Headlights comes in. That's where the fucking Heroes comes in. Where the Breakfast Club comes in. Tracks. That's where all these other places come in because downtown would never receive us that way. Mm-hmm. And it was crazy.
Hey, we broke all that down. It took a while, but we broke down the stereotype, and hip hop's everywhere. One of the biggest forms.
Hip hop is everywhere, man.
Biggest form of music, bro.
Now let's start getting into your tutelage in producing. Like you said earlier, you were learning. You were seeing your brother as a musician. You started sneaking in the room, started doing your thing. Yeah. Talk about the beginnings, the roots, the Cheetah Records, in that deal that you guys had with Smooth J Smooth, Hard Rhymer, which at the time, was a representation of our city. Like that was our wave. Like prior to that, it was the MC Boos, the Royal Posses, the DJ Magic Mikes, the Clay D's, the Prince Raheems, but you guys were our wave. Like you were representing our wave, but you guys were signed to one of the only most successful record labels in the city, which was Cheetah Records. Talk about that.
Man, damn. I mean, we started making noise, me and Smooth J Smooth. You know, we teamed up. You know, he said, yo, I'm looking for a DJ. You be my DJ. Started just connecting, started making music. At the time, our first song, that song, we put samples together. We produced it together, but somebody else had to put it all together. And he had to be like the only person I ever heard of back in the day that was actually making beats on a computer. So it was like unheard of, you know what I'm saying? Most everybody had drum machine samples.
There's some kids that just got off the bus that didn't hear what you just said. Could you repeat that one more time, buddy?
People were making beats mainly on like drum machines. Nobody had heard of making beats on a computer and that kind of stuff. But this guy had it. I forgot his name. But he put it together. I did all the scratches on it. Julian rapped over it, and we put it out. It was called Hard Rhyme Composer, DJ Nasty and Smooth J Smooth.
Man, bro, and I remember that, dude. And you guys were like stars, because that shit was like everything. I told Julian that too long ago. How amazing that was to know that you guys were able to kind of do that, because for me, like Cheetah Records was different for me. Like Cheetah Records, I grew up with a guy named Frankie, God bless the dead. He died, he was murdered. And his whole thing was like, I can't wait to, put this record out on Cheetah Records. They had signed a deal with Cheetah Records and they couldn't wait to drop. There was a freestyle group, a club group, and he had died, he got murdered. But Cheetah Records for Orlando at the time was like, you made it. It was, you made it. You made it if you got to Cheetah Records. And I don't know if Cheetah Records has ever earned that. But for people that was from the city, it meant everything. It meant everything. Because that was the only representation that we had that was from that we knew was successful, like Magic Mike, one of the only artists to go platinum at that time off Cheetah Records. So everything was based on that. And so for you guys to land that deal, I thought that was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So tell us what happened to that deal in your point of view.
Man, damn, it was so long ago. I don't even know.
Nigga. Nah, you gonna sell that damn story. You gonna tell that damn story, bro. Because that's the truth. Yes.
That's my brother. Nah, I think it was some issues between Smooth J Smooth and Mike. I was the most nicest, humblest kid there was, you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to be here, you know what I'm saying? So I think it was some.
But you were to be fair. If anyone was going to take the crown and was a part of that next wave, which you was, you didn't come from Magic Mike's wave. That was a whole different wave. Right. He introduced all of us to what it was to be proud of Orlando, and you were the next wave of that. And you did things in your own way, and I thought that shit was dope. You know what I mean? Like, I thought, based on the things that I heard from Smooth J Smooth, I felt like, that makes sense, because you were a threat. You were a threat to the whole fucking, I know you're gonna be humble, which you should be humble, but you were a threat. You were the threat in the city. Nobody was fucking with you on some real shit, and I say that as a DJ.
I don't know what
Because
the threat was. I mean,
no,
Magic,
no. You
he
did
was
what you
who we
did.
wanted to be. We wanted to be a Magic Mike. Everybody wanted to be like a Magic Mike.
Nah, but you did what you. No, you part of my wave, nigga. Like, we want to be like our parents, but we gonna try to outdo our parents, right? Like, you had your own wave. The whole city was behind you in a real way.
I really love New York hip hop. That, and that's what you guys loved. You know what I'm saying? That's the way you guys wanted. You know what I'm saying? And that's
right. No, but that has shit to do with your pedigree. Like you still, even though we wanted all of that shit, that ain't got nothing to do with how you were cutting. You one of the nastiest motherfuckers to cut in the city. You had an outlook on what you thought DJ was supposed to be based on your generation, based on my generation. And to this day, I would never agree with what you decided to do. Like, I would never say, like, yo, you fucked up. That was a fucked up representation of us. Like, no. Like, that shit was the right representation of us. We just didn't know it until you showed up. Like, you did what you did. And come on, man. You know I'm gonna say that, bro. Like, that's some real shit, dude. Like, I know what you was a threat to, because for a lot of motherfuckers, like, look at MCing. For a lot of people that were MCing out there, and you dealt with a lot of greats. You produced greats. You've been behind a lot of greats. There was a lot of MCs out there at the time that didn't succumb to what the world wanted them to be.
Right.
And there was a moment in your coming ups in which you were like, I have to know that. Either I'm a fucking maniac or that's the truth. But I have to know that you said, yo, the motherfucker's dope. They probably won't sell 1 million records. But that shit is dope. Right?
Yeah. For sure.
And so, like I'm saying to you, brother, that moment in which you guys hooked up with Smooth J Smooth at the time, he was a dope ass fucking MC out here, bro. He just was.
He was ghostwriting for all type of people. You know what I'm saying? Right. I thought he was out of here. We did a record called Andy, and I thought it was, we're out of here. Yo, we're gonna be torn for the rest of our life.
Y'all motherfuckers went to the New Music Seminar and did y'all shit, and showed the world what Orlando was brewing down here. I think that shit is dope. The fact that you guys went up there and were able to fucking show that. The New Music Seminar doesn't even exist anymore.
Nah, it doesn't.
Jack the Rapper doesn't exist anymore.
No.
Isn't that crazy? Is that crazy to you? Yeah. That we don't even have anything in resemblance to that?
No. Those were like special music seminar conventions, but they brought the biggest in the game, from the Tupac to the Biggie Smalls. Everybody was at them conventions. Last convention we had like that was Mix Show Power Summit. That was a Mix Show DJ convention. That was the last thing we had. That was amazing.
And so you're doing this with this guy in a time in which there's really no competition. Shout out to damn, I'm having a brain freeze right now. What's dude name that was the management?
Sherman Boswell.
Sherman Boswell. Shout out to Sherman. During a time where Sherman was pretty much up there with, some of the biggest promoters we had during that time, and he was actually out there, promoting great things in Orlando.
Yeah.
Talk about how all those things collapsed.
How they what?
Collapsed.
Man, I don't know if I would say they collapsed. I think
Collapsed in the regard of what was the trailer. There was a trailer of what we thought was going to be, and then all of a sudden it completely disappeared. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it collapsed. I'm just saying y'all guys released a trailer that everyone in Orlando was like rooting
Sherman
for.
had devoted a lot of time and probably money and just he was taken away from his family. Like he was really putting all his eggs and all his effort into me and Smooth J Smooth to really try to make it. So
Right.
I definitely thank him for everything he did for us.
Right.
We have the group because he went hard, bro. He was.
Yeah, I know he did. I was a part of that movement for a while. Yeah. I know what he was trying to put into it.
Back for us. He's the type of person to give his shirt off his back for us.
Right. Shout out to Sherman Boswell.
We still communicate till this day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But there was that point in which
we were so early. I think we were just so early, and although we felt like we knew the business very well, it didn't work out for us, man.
Well, you had, like most DJs have, the ability to reinvent themselves. MCs is difficult.
Yeah,
because once people hear you, they attach you to what they've heard of you.
Right.
But DJs, you can reinvent yourself. Talk about that.
Right. Rona.
Ain't no corona. Fuck all that shit.
That too much weed or is that Rona?
That's that weed Rona. How about that? We got you, bro. We good.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back after these weed messages. Yes.
Oh, man. So, damn. Yeah, that didn't work out, but I kept DJing and eventually got into radio, and then from there, I got into production some way. And just started making music and passing them to artists through the radio station and meeting good people and friends of mine like Rated R and getting introduced to Fat Joe.
Oh, shout out to Ralphie. Rated R. Shout out to my man, Ralphie. You know who you are, dude. Yo, every time I listen to Ralph for like 2 seconds, I'm reminded of what Ralph is. And yo, my man's Ralph. Like, for me, like, my man Ralph, and I never give him this much credit because I can't talk about the story enough. Like, Ralph brought me, shout out to Malik, aka Dominic Major, aka Mr. Major, aka Seth One. We're in New York. Yeah, you know Malik, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, you know Malik.
Yeah.
We're in New York, and he's in Pelham Bay. Shout out to Rated R. And he says, hey, man, don't have nothing to do on a Monday in New York City. And I'm like, okay, what do you mean? We're going to Funkmaster Flex's birthday. And I didn't know the significance of what the fuck he was taking us to, but that nigga took us to the Palladium,
Wow.
which I'm looking back in history.
Palladium meaning the tunnel?
No, the Palladium
Okay.
in Manhattan.
Wow.
And I didn't know the significance of it because I wasn't well versed in clubs in New York like that.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the club that Studio 54 owners opened up after they got free. So, mind you, I didn't think I would know. Like, for me, like, there's no way we're getting in that club. It's a Monday. I'm not even dressed like I'm going to the fucking club.
You're
like,
rated R, the concert bandit. He's getting
the concert bandit, right. So I'm like doubting him the whole way there.
Wow.
Like we got off the train. We're living in Staten Island at the time. Shout out to Malik. And there's no way in hell. Huh?
Malik with the dreads?
Yes. Come on, bro. My dude. The feud, nigga.
Oh, the feud.
So, yes. And so we out there, and there's no way in the fuck I'm thinking we're getting in that club. There's no way. And I didn't even know the significance of the club at the time. But I'm like, there's no way. We get off the train. There's a line around the corner. It's a Monday. It's Funkmaster Flex's birthday. Run DMC's performing. LL's performing. This is prior to Big Pun, Fat Joe. So, Fat Joe has already had a couple records out, but he's not that big. So all of these things, like, for me, there's no reason why we should be getting in that club. Somebody's going to say, get the fuck out of here. Ralph, the concert bandit.
Yes.
He meets us at the front of the club. There's a line around the corner. And I'm like, there's no way we're getting in. There's no fucking way. I'm still thinking that way. I'm like, girl, Ralph, what the fuck are we doing, bro? There's no way we're getting in here. You see how I'm dressed? I'm in like fucking, Bailey jeans, fucking t-shirt. Like I didn't give a fuck about nothing. He walks us up past this line through airport security. If you know anything about the Palladium, you got to take off your shoes. It's like airport security before airport security was airport security, right? All these people are doing all this shit. We didn't have to do any of that, and we're walking through these lighted floors. We walked right in, and this nigga was like, "Yo, this is Big Pun," and this is before Big Pun was Big Pun. And I'm like, yo, what's up? And we're in the middle of the Palladium. Let me give you context. KRS-One feel rappers are in danger from the video in the Palladium. Like, just that whole concept, it was like the equivalent of the Roxy for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even know that. And I'm sitting there like, yo, I can't believe my man Rated R got us up in here like that. And I still tell him that to this day. Like, it's Monday night.
Yeah.
I never believed he would. The crowd it was sold out. It was fucking packed. Wall to wall. Run DMC perform. LL Cool J perform. It was just so crazy. And we just so happened to be there for that fucking incredible night. But shout out to Rated R, man, because Rated R has been like the ghost face of Orlando, if you will. Like he's done a lot for this city, and for a lot of people, he will never get the credit that he deserves. But shout out to Rated R.
For sure, no. Rated R helped me and Khaled a lot in the early days. You know what I'm saying? He introduced us to a lot of key players. Fat Joe, the main key player he introduced us to, you know what I'm saying, that we still continue to break bread and freaking his family. Like,
and who that?
Fat Joe.
Okay. Fat Joe. Shout out to Fat Joe. That shit is epic, man, because who would have thought? Who would have thought that Fat Joe would be the conduit from Orlando to Miami?
Yeah.
If you would have told me that itinerary, I would have looked at you like you're a fucking madman.
Yeah. Not
Like, I would never believe that.
Fat Joe is like, he's the first one that helped Khaled get his record deal. He's the first person I did a record for that was properly, the business was 24/7 around the clock, right? You know what I'm saying? I was a new producer back then as Nasty Beatmakers. Me and my brother. This was me and my brother's first placement, Nasty Beatmakers. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I did a record with Rated R prior to that, but it was just me and it was him. We did a collaboration for a Crazy Bone record. That was my first platinum plaque. But as Nasty Beatmakers, our first placement was Fat Joe. And I mean, Fat Joe rolled out the carpet for us, you know what I'm saying, as new producers. He flew us up to New York for the mix. He paid us well for the song, put us up in hotel flights. Everything was just on point. And, you know, he taught us the game. You know, once we seen how, you know, we had to get a lawyer and all type of shit for the first record. And it was just dope. It taught me the game and, you know, how it's done and, you know, how you have to be there for the mixes and make sure the sound is right and all type of shit, you know what I'm saying? That's how it was back in the days. Now, you know, you mix a record, sometimes the producer's not even involved with it. You know what I'm saying? We send the mix off and they do
What
it.
is it? What is the difference between that for young people who don't know the difference of that, who don't know what you're describing? Because what you're describing is, and I know I can speak to that, is the ability to mix the record and them co-sign that means not only you don't need fucking Full Sail, but you got an ear.
Yeah,
and then that the idea, like,
as a producer, you know how you want your song to sound. You know what I'm saying? I mean, 50% of the song is the producer who made the music. So you know how your music you want it to sound. So it's so important to be there to hear your record mixed. You know, now it's not always like that nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, you know, half the time the producer's not there. You know what I'm saying? Everything's just done through freaking email and all that. So, you know, the mix, and I guess it saves time and money of flying a producer to LA to sit down with Jason Joshua and put them up in a hotel for a couple of days and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, the budgets are cut way more now. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of money back in the days. But, you know, now the budgets are cut. So, you know, and, you know, you put your trust in those guys mixing the records and they send it back to you. And you
actually, it saves you time to not have to deal with certain things because you're established in what you do. But for the newcomers, that's critical time for them to establish relationships with these artists. You know, you got the benefit of having people vouching for you now. What about the artists that don't necessarily get that time, where they got to be everywhere, if you will, and establish that time, even if it doesn't require them to get paid for it? Like you said, budget.
Mm-hmm. Shit, I really understand that question too well.
Well, I'm saying, like you were saying, like before, back in the good old days, there would be a budget allotted for time for you to maybe fly down from Orlando to Miami
with the engineer,
right? With the engineer, and have established those relationships, which are really the most valuable thing that you could get out of everything. Mm-hmm. It's not really the record. It's the relationships that you establish with everybody involved.
Yeah.
So I'm asking you, what is that like for newcomers?
I mean, for newcomers, you just have to try to be involved as much as you can. If you're asking me from a producer standpoint, you just gotta be involved with your mixing and know how you want it to sound. And just have somebody that knows what they're doing. Sometimes the new generation may not have somebody. It'll be a friend that's doing the engineering and all that, and he may not have that technical ear yet. You know what I'm saying? And knowing frequency levels and how many dBs to put something at. You know what I'm saying? That's something you gotta really learn. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes nowadays sometimes you record it and you put it out there. But it's so important to have that mix right. You know what I'm saying? You don't want something sounding distorted or sounding crazy. You still
Well, that's crazy because a lot of the newer stuff,
you do
has distortion in it now.
Right.
You hear a lot of this newer stuff. The bass has distortion in it. The melodies may have distortion in it. Fuck, the vocals have distortion in it. This new wave of producing doesn't necessarily, they don't align to our production techniques in that regard. What say you about that?
What?
What say you about the production techniques? Yeah, about how we grew up with those techniques and how the newer generation is viewing those techniques, if you will.
I don't know. Maybe it's the new generation sound. Maybe that's how they like it.
Right.
Unfortunately, I come from the Dr. Dre days, and
Right.
Guys, they spend so much time just mixing the record. So I just know how I like things to sound.
Right.
Have good sounding records. You listen to Drake, you listen to Kendrick Lamar.
Right. And everything you just described are Grammy.
Metro Boomin, and there's a lot of great producers that still have great engineers that mix their records. You know what I'm saying?
Quincy Jones.
Before you go there, sometimes there's records that come out that need to be remixed. It is what it is. Even when BMF came out, when Lex Luger and Ross did the record, we were playing it off the mixtape, but it wasn't mixed properly. But as soon as he got that deal, as soon as Def Jam said, "Yo, we're gonna make this a single. Let's send so and so, Ray Day or whoever to mix the record so it sounds right," and that's what they did. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of records that probably come out, and I hear it sometimes. A lot of records will come out, and they'll just come off the mixtape, and be we'll start playing the record. But as soon as they get that deal, the label will be like, "Yo, let's remix the record so it sounds right." So, that still happens.
And that's dope.
Quality is important, man. It's important. Quality is still important.
Everything that you talked about can be fact checked. What you've done warranted a Grammy. What Dr. Dre has done warranted a Grammy. What Timbaland has done warranted a Grammy. A lot of these new producers don't necessarily subscribe. And, and I hate to say this sometimes, that we become our parents, when I thought at the end of the day, like, we were like totally rebellious of our parents. But for a lot of producers, a lot of engineers, not all methods are required, because even though Michael Jackson did his vocals on a Thriller album, which is probably one of the most untouched records and albums ever produced, ever, he did that on an SM7B, Shure mic. Mm-hmm. That's the only reason why, to this day, the SM7 being Shure mic is used in all different kind of platforms because we rate it on the Thriller album.
Yeah.
But that happened in the 80s. What's going on in 2010? You know, what's going on with this ability to record without the room being treated, without the stuff being mixed in a way that involves a board. Billie Eilish, one of the greatest artists right now in our industry, has her brother literally recorded everything in a bedroom and mixed everything in Logic without even touching a board. What say you about that?
The processors on these softwares are just amazing, and I mean, I can record right here in my studio, like, and I don't even need a big box or in the closet like we used to do. You know, the game's changed, and you know, we gotta give thanks to technology. You know, now you don't need a full-fledged studio to record in. You can have your little bedroom and a piece of gear and a couple software and a mic, and you good. You know,
right?
That's why some studios are still suffering. You know what I'm saying, because of that change. But thank God
less is more. Sometimes more is less, right?
The new generation is still, you know, rushing to studios to, you know, create that vibe too. You know what I'm saying? That synergy. Sometimes you don't want to be in your homeboy's bedroom. You know, you want to have the like 6-10 niggas in the studio, 5 chicks. You know what I'm saying? We drinking and all that. That probably brought the studios back. Is the vibe.
Shout out to all my peoples that to this day support the vibe. I see that 4,000 behind you, bro. You ain't had that, bro. Like, I remember that. I love the 4,000 because of the ADATs. I could run 8 outs without even needing a card to do it. Tell the people them what the MPC has meant to your life. What did you start on there?
The MPC is my baby, man. Like this right here. Me and my brother. Oh, he is? Oh, yeah. Me and my brother, LVM, Lenny, we did smashes with this right here. This
man, y'all don't know about that 2000 G. Let's go.
Yeah, we did. Oh, man, we did. All I Do Is Win on this joint, me and my brother, Lenny.
On the 2000 XL.
And we did Lil Wayne's On Me, Southern Fried intro for Ludacris, Group of Screw Up for Ludacris. We did a lot of gems on this joint. This is my baby. I love her, man.
Man, that 2000 XL, if y'all don't know, if y'all never owned a 2000 XL, then you don't know what he's talking about. But that 2000 XL was, if you started with the 2000, that 2000 XL was the answer to 2000.
Yeah.
It just was. Like, it made sense. Like, you still got your SCSI drive?
Nah, this one has a built-in SCSI.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's got the SD drive too? It's got the multi-slot?
Nope. I can put a zip drive in here.
A zip. Yeah, he's got the zip drive in it. Yes. Yeah. Shout out to all my peoples that know about those zips.
Yeah.
And know about them SCSIs, man, because that's key, man. And you got the 4000 over there, man, which was the upgrade.
Oh yeah, the 4000s. That's like the monster. This is what we would
yes.
This goes in the game. We put this in a slot right here, and this is what we save. This is our hard drive. This is where we save all the information and music on.
Right.
Put it into this, and we just every time we make a beat, we save it on here.
And you just pull it up like nothing.
Yep, and then we had to dump the music onto Pro Tools.
Right, which was awesome. Just depending on what kind of technology you was dumping it on.
Right.
Shout out to all my hardware heads who got them ADATs, them Elises, got them Tascams.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you had to know SMPTE to work that shit and make it all kind of sync. Yes.
Whew. I deal with that.
That 4000 was like a step up from the
Yeah.
2000 sonically and digitally. Like it had a technology to it. I love my 4000. I hated selling it. I got the X now. I've worked with all of the MPCs.
Yeah.
And 4000 was my favorite because it just offered everything that the 3000 did, but didn't. And I love the 3000.
Yeah, me too.
And I learned off the 62. Shout out to Khaled because he would bring me to his house and he would personally teach me how to that 62 work.
Really?
Yeah, he did, man. I go to his house like once a week.
I taught him how to use it.
Ain't that crazy, dude? Like, dude, like
he was the first one to get it. I was so jealous of him. He got
Dre from the Breakfast Club. He had reached out to Khaled and he said, "Yo, show my man Rome how to work that shit." And
man,
at the time, I didn't know the significance of it, so I wrote down notes. And then when we signed with Shaq, Shaq had the 62. And that shit was sick. And I was like, yo, Shaq, I know how to work that bitch. And he's like, you do, nigga? You do? And I was like, all right, I'll take it home.
Got you outside with Shaq. Damn.
Yeah, dog. Yeah, we was. It
was three of y'all.
Malik, Dread.
Dread was the reggae guy.
Yes. He was on the joint. Shout out to my man Rax, who at the time was known as Missing Links. You know, that was the move. That was the move. It was like a uniting of the city.
Oh my God.
Yeah, bro. Shout out to Hollywood too.
Have you ever talked to Shaq ever again?
Nah, it's been a minute. It's been a minute since I'm
He's always around Orlando. He's somewhere always around Orlando.
Ain't that crazy, dog? I'm hoping that I see him. That nigga loved my rhymes, dude. Like he was like, yo, Rome, I love you, man. Like, let's do this rhyme. Like, yo, and it's been a minute, but mind you, I was living in Kansas City for 12 years, so that didn't help neither. I was gone. I was out of here, man, for a minute. But yeah, shout out to Shaquille O'Neal, Twism Movement.
I ended up doing records for him. I did like 2 records for him.
Yeah, when things didn't work out, when he went to LA, Orlando was kind of like on a what do you call it, like a freeze, if you will. And then Lord Tariq and Peter Guns, he dropped Lord Tariq and Peter Guns when he got to LA. And we were supporting that, man, because he had that studio out in Windermere. And we would never have met the people that we met if it wasn't for Shaq. Like Easy Mo B, he brought that SB12 out there, man. And I was like, I hated those fucking SB12s. And he almost made me fall in love with them.
Me too.
And because I love my MPCs. Like I love I love what they made me feel. SB12s are so limited, and it just made me feel like I would have to do less. But I love the sound. I didn't know what 12-bit meant. We were all complaining about 12-bit. All these motherfuckers now celebrating 12-bit. Y'all were complaining about this shit back in the days, dog. Y'all was, man.
We went 24-bit.
Right. Like when the MPC came out, the 2000, and the motherfucker was like 16-bit. We all thought we was the shit. Like, nah, nigga, you ain't fucking with the CD quality. Like we were all wanted to be CD quality, but we didn't realize the gravity of that 12-bit, and that's why everything is trying to emulate that now.
Yeah, the grunginess, the gutter.
And shout out to all my ASR 10 owners.
Yeah,
I have an ASR 10.
Yeah. I got an EPS and Sonic 60.
Yeah, and when I during the time at its peak or at its prime, I used to laugh at niggas with their ASR 10. I was like, yo, the fuck are we doing, man? And I didn't realize the gravity of the ASR 10. And then I made a beat on that motherfucker, and I found that bitch in Kansas City for like $60, $70. I ran out that store so fast, dude. I thought I was stealing it. Like I couldn't believe they were selling that for $60.
Wow.
And I'm like, yo, this is the same machine I was laughing at. And I made a few beats on it. I'm like, wow, that shit is the truth. So shout out to all my analog people out there, bro. Now tell me, as a producer now, what has been some of the difficult tracks you worked on? We know it's worked, we know it's easy, but tell us what's been the hardest tracks you worked on that required you to kind of go in your bag, if you will.
That required me to what?
To go in your bag, if you will. Because we all celebrate the beats that work, the songs that work, but talk about the things that maybe you didn't even think the beat would work and then wound up working. Talk about those beats. Talk about the shit.
Intro.
Right.
Probably Southern Fried intro, because it was like, I felt like that was like two songs combined into one. So, and for us, it was like, I don't know if anybody had did something like that at the time, where you were where the beat sounded one way, and then at the end of that beat, it just changed completely to something else. And that's,
right.
When we sampled the K's, well, we didn't sample it. My brother replayed every note in that damn song. So we replayed the Isaac Hayes Walk On By. You guys know it from the Dead President Dead President movie. And that whole intro piece, we played all the music to that. And then right when it gets to the end of the break, it goes into where Ludacris starts rapping, and I completely flipped the beat in it. Man, it was just, so it's amazing. If you get a chance, go listen to it. Southern Fried intro, Ludacris.
You hear that, Orlando, bro? He just gave you a challenge. Go listen to that. This is our people. This is our sound. This is our story. He's telling you right now, bro, like even he didn't even think that was going to do what it does. For a lot of the hits in general, people don't think that's going to do what it does. Did you know All I Do Is Win was going to do it?
I knew the beat was fire. When me and my brother made it, we knew it was a smash. And at that time, we were giving Cal a lot of B-sides. You know what I'm saying? When we did records, at that time I was working with Lil Wayne, Fat Joe, Ludacris, Cameron, they bought MJG, like all the big rappers. So Cal was my little brother to me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I was treating him like a little brother. So I was like, yo, blah, blah, blah. Yo, I got a beat. Yo, check it out. But he's like, yo, when you gonna give me when we gonna do it like a hit record? Only B-side, yo, yeah, something. You always giving them to all the other rappers. I was like, so me and my brother made it. This time when I made it, I told my brother, let's give the record to Khaled. I know we can send this to Luda or Lil Wayne right now, and they would probably kill it. But let's send it to Khaled and see. He needs a record. He's looking for a record to close this album with. So we sent it to him when he heard it.
Did
Love
you
these.
know? Did you know?
This beat. Do not let nobody hear this beat. Yo, put it
Did
silent.
you know that record? I mean, let me tell you something, man. Like
When I heard the hook, I thought it was crazy. When Khaled sent me the record with T-Pain on it, I was like, damn, that's crazy. But it didn't have the drop in it yet. Everybody's hand goes up. That drop wasn't there yet.
oh,
So,
that part, everybody hands go up,
yeah,
wasn't in there?
where the beat silence and you're like, then it comes back on beat. That shit was crazy. I heard that when we were mixing the record. I was like, what? I said, is that drop gonna work? Is that, yo, that sounds crazy. But it's still on beat. Like, it sounded like it was something I've never heard before, and a beat freaking completely drops out. But
Who thought of that?
Ricky Padilla, I played him the record before it was done, and he said, yo, this is like a sports anthem. It's crazy. I said, really? I said, damn, okay, yeah, you got a point. It does say something about winning. But no,
Like that record is going to be played long after you're dead, buddy. Like that record is going to be played way after we even know what the fucking meaning of sports is. Like that record just survives and says everything about. It's kind of the equivalent of the Orlando version of We Are the Champions.
Yeah, everybody says that. Yeah, well, good. My daughter will have publishing for the rest of her life because I won't be selling that. Yeah,
that part. That's crazy. You didn't even hear the drop in that record. Whose idea was that drop?
Jesus, I don't know. I don't.
You don't even know the idea was the drop.
I don't know, and I don't want to say it wasn't my idea. So I don't want to say the right.
Okay, I'm going to ask you another question, and I'm pretty sure you're going to give me a similar answer because that's what we're doing, okay? Why the fuck is there 23 people all in contributing to that record? Like, tell me the truth. Just tell me the truth, nigga. Just tell me.
It's me, Khaled, T-Pain, Rick Ross, Snoop Dogg, and Ludacris. 6 people. Man, stop adding numbers. Man.
If I look at that fucking record, if I commission anyone to look at the fucking record, there's 25 people.
That's the remix, man.
Okay.
That's the remix. You talking about
the original ain't no goddamn different, nigga. Like there's 20 people on that record who have contributed to that record.
Hell no.
I've never seen anything in my life like that. I was like, what the fuck is that?
No, you crazy as hell. I know.
Okay, so the original says what? Just so I can all I'm doing is verifying it.
Yeah, no, the original is 3 rappers on there.
Okay.
The person that wrote T-Pain and Khaled.
Okay. Anybody listening right now, please verify that.
Me and my brother, 2 people. So yeah, 7 people on there. So but, Khaled. People. Every time Khaled did a record, he has to have a whole bunch of people on the record. You know what I'm saying?
Nigga, I thought that shit was a Thriller album. I was like, Stevie Wonder's on that record? Like, how the fuck is all these people on that goddamn record? Like, I didn't even know Marvin Gaye had a fucking sample in that record. Like, I didn't know half the fucking people.
Ain't no goddamn sample in that record. You crazy?
No, I know that. I'm
and
fucking
you know
with
what?
you.
My brother Lenny used to get mad at me because all I did was sample. And he was like, yo, we're not making no money sampling all these people when we make these records. And ain't it crazy? All I do is was one of the records that we didn't sample that day. Right. And we control a big portion of that, the Cadillac, the publishing on that record.
That publishing is so incredible because most people, I'm just saying,
saved my life, bro.
That publishing on the last record you made, it should be all of those people. And I'm being funny but it did feel like it was 20 people involved in the remix.
No, in the remix, who's on the remix? Busta Rhymes, T-Pain, Rick Ross, Fabulous, Fat Joe, Jadakiss, Nicki Minaj, Diddy. I think I said Diddy. That's 8 people right there. I just can think of.
Right. What's up with that dude that was like he was part of Rick Ross's team. The dude that was like he's a skinny dude. Did you mention him? No, not Gunplay. The other dude. Hard.
Who?
Hard. Hustle hard.
Oh, sir. No, he wasn't on All I Do Is Win. Swiss Beats. Oh, Swiss Beats was on there. Shit. Damn.
Swiss Beats.
Yeah. I said
Jada. Yeah, Jada was on there. Like,
man,
dude, it was like
when I heard that record, I was like, damn, all my favorite rappers on one record.
Dude, I thought Obama was gonna be on that record, dude. Like everybody, their mama.
I mean, he did walk out to the record. He did walk out to the record.
That part, bro. Like everybody, their mama want to be on that record, and
yeah,
like a lot of people, like I said, they celebrate the shiny objects, and you came up with a hit, dope. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people don't realize the inside baseball, which is, did you guys fucking know when y'all were doing it, like how big that record was gonna be? Like that would be in every stadium all over the world forever, ever.
When we did the music, I'm gonna keep it real. I felt like me and my brother made that record pretty quick, and we normally take time on making records. You know what I'm saying? For some reason, that record, just the flow of the record when he was making the music, it was. And I then laid the drums. It just magically came together and just felt amazing.
Negro, when I was playing that in Kansas City and I was watching it being played in Kansas City, Missouri. Shout out to all my KCMO motherfuckers out there, bro. Y'all, these motherfuckers swore they was got from fucking Miami or the South Florida. Like that shit just resonated with everyone in a real way that you always wish a song would do. Like that was the one time a song or an idea of a song worked. Like in a way that, it's kind of like listening to Beat It or Billie Jean.
Sometimes records
No, I know. Right.
When you try to come up with certain anthems, it feels like you're forcing it on people.
Right. That bitch worked. That bitch worked. It sounded unforced.
When me and my brother did it, we kind of gave it like a marching band feel too. You know what I'm saying? We kind of gave it those with the horns and all that type of shit, the way the drums were programmed.
And that's exactly how it sounded. It sounded like if you just tuned in to Monday Night Football, that was the anthem for Monday Night Football. Like you just caught the show when it started. All I do is, like all of that shit is crazy. Like it's just that shit you have to kind of buck up on. Like you don't, like to your point, you don't just make that up. That shit you just find yourself in that neighborhood and you listen to what you're listening to and you don't deny any of it. You just give it all and everything that you describe makes sense. Like what you heard, you just recorded it. Yeah. And you didn't say, nah, that shit don't work.
No.
Nah, you said all of it.
Everybody around me believed in the record. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I ain't believe in the record. Everybody knew we're going to be big. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't know how big it was going to be.
And if you're not watching what the fuck Nasty is doing right now, Mr. Modest, he's got them platinum records just sitting right there, so you can look at it. What's that platinum record right there, my nigga? Tell the people there, right to your left. What's that platinum record, bro?
This is the Chicken and Beer album.
Chicken and beer, Luda.
Yeah, this is a Ludacris. I think we did 2 joints on here: Hard Times and Southern Fried Intro. So
man,
I love this one.
Man, brother. What's that Raucous album you got behind you, yo?
Raucous.
To your right.
That's my DJ days.
Oh man, talk your shit, bro.
You know, when you used to you know, contribute and play artists on the radio, they would, you know, plaques and thank you for, you know, contributing to their sale and success of their artists and, you know, breaking their records and all that kind of stuff.
Man, you know what that is to have a big L fucking plaque behind you, bro. You know how big that is, bro. Take a look at that, Orlando. This is what he's talking about right now, bro. This is our connection to the entire world right now, bro. This is what that means. When we say we hip hop, we can back that bitch up. Because that motherfucker right there has been backing that bitch up for a minute. Yes, sir.
I had to stop buying plaques because I don't have nowhere really to put them up at. You know what I'm saying? And it's
right.
You work on so many projects, and like now I can't even keep up with like the last couple of records we did from like Wild Thoughts and Do You Mind. We didn't even buy those plaques because unlike other artists, Alan makes these plaques that cost $2,000. So, you know, back in the day, you get a plaque for $250. You know, it is what it is. $250, $300. This nigga making freaking $2,000 plaques, and he making $10,000 plaques. Man, I'm not buying no $10,000 plaques.
He said, "Man, fuck all that shit, son. Fuck that shit, son."
Yo, that shit's gonna stay in the factory.
I heard that, brother. Amen to that. Yeah, you said you made.
I gotta get that plaque. I'm gonna have to come off the 2 G's. I just gotta do that.
Wild Ones, man. Talk about what that was like. Hearing your brother have that Santana riff. Like nobody even ever tried to fuck with Santana on some covering Santana. Your brother did.
Yeah, amazing record.
Talk about it.
And Lenny's probably the best. My brother Lenny, he's probably one of the best guitar players to ever do it, man. And you know, that song wasn't sampled. Like my brother played that whole riff, everything.
Right. That shit came from Orlando, man. All of it.
Yeah. Shout out to Khaled. Khaled was sitting on that idea for a long time. Right. The way he wanted to put it together, and he finally said, "Yo," and you know, we're blessed to be a part of that record. You know what I'm saying?
And shout out to Lenny, man, because once again, you know, part of my responsibility is telling our story and describing where the fuck we come from. And you know, I know Lenny like I know you.
Gotta do another one, man. Me and that together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because please believe me, bro. Please.
He's a beast. He's a beast, and you know he definitely he deserves his flowers.
Yes, he does, man. You know, like that shit describes the sound of Orlando. The courage that it requires to take. That's like you trying to fucking play Hendrix, you know, or me trying to fucking do, you know, Eddie Van Halen or some shit like that.
That's my brother's favorite guitar player, Eddie Van Halen. My brother's a rock.
Man. Rest in peace, Eddie.
Yeah, we come from two worlds. I come from hip hop. My brother comes from rock and roll. And
well, one of my favorite guitarists. Tell Lenny, one of my favorite guitarists is fucking the dude from Living Colour,
Vernon Reid.
Vernon Reid, bro.
I rock and roll because of my brother.
Yes. And the idea of niggas from a town in which people don't really recognize like that. We're not a household name like that. To know that one of my peoples, one of my family out here said, yo, I'm, you know, Santana's good and all that, but I can take his rip and put my own flavor to it. and then have some of the hottest people in the industry agree with it by doing a song. I mean, that shit is epic, dude. Like, I mean, I hope you get all your flowers now. But that shit is bigger than what you're gonna receive while you're alive, man. That shit is dope, man. You speaking for a lot of people in the city that got no voice, and I just want to fucking highlight that for a minute. That, you know, even all the time that I was gone, I know people like yourself, and there's plenty others that I can't mention throughout the show, that have made contributions to our city. And though y'all guys may not have gotten your flowers, nobody may have said thank you or said, hey, even if you tried and it didn't amount to anything, this is what the sound of Orlando is, man. I'm saying thank you because you may know a lot about me, but one thing you do know about me is that I love my city like you do. And anytime somebody contributes to our city in a way that I feel like is deserving of contributions, like you did all of these things, you've been a DJ, giving a voice to people that didn't have no voice otherwise. You were a DJ to a group or rapper out here that was part of our Orlando hip hop history. You've been on the radio all these fucking years. And on top of that, you're actually contributing to the legacy of Hitman by being literally the producer of hits for my brother Khaled. And, you know, when I say that, there's no disrespect to Khaled, but you've done a lot of great shit for that brother that probably will never be quantified in an amount that's a dollar amount. But from our city, we know the truth. You're from here. You've been representing here. I think that shit is everything, bro. At the end of the goddamn day, that shit is everything because you're speaking to all the people that either don't know how to say it or don't have the courage to say it. One of the two.
It's all love, man. We family, me and Khaled, man. We still rock until this day. You know, we love each other. He goes to the bat for me. I go to bat for him. You know.
Yeah, you already know, bro. That ain't got nothing to do with none of that. I'm telling you on some like real G shit. Like, yo, that ain't got nothing to do with none of that, bro. I'm telling you on some real G shit. Like, dude, you have been based on where you came from and based on what you're doing right now. You have been just as much of the sound of Orlando as I've been in this short 3 months that I've been doing this show. And I'm just saying that shit means a lot for the people that probably will never, ever say thank you to you or have the courage to even, or have the language to even describe it. You have to realize
it's 407 day, and I thank you. I thank the city for holding me down because believe it or not, man, I'll be walking downtown. I've been doing it for years, and somebody will stop me and say, yo, thank you for never leaving the city. Thank you for everything you do. So, bro, I love Orlando. There's great people in Orlando, and they continue to show love, bro. And, you know, I love walking down the street and just having genuine people just come, strangers I don't even know, and just saying, yo, man, appreciate you, bro.
Right. I think that's so dope. Because we kind of laugh at it. We're talking about all this history and we laugh about it. But for a lot of people, man, and i.e. DMX, there's a lot of people out here going through shit.
Yeah.
They struggle with depression. They struggle with toxic people. They struggle trying to figure out whether or not their gift is even valuable. And I'm telling you, my brother, like, you're a representative of the city in a way in which a lot of people don't even know that they even have that power to do so, because a lot of people give up.
Yeah.
No one. I'm never gonna have the accolades of Nasty. I'm never gonna do what he does. I'm never gonna do what Magic Mike does. I'm never gonna do what Khaled does. Like I'm never gonna do what you know what I mean?
Never say never. Nah.
No, I'm just saying, like for a lot of people, they use instead of using it as an inspiration, they use you as a deterrent to give up.
Nah, never give up.
And we as a people in this city, and I've been saying it nonstop since I've been back, bro. We got to figure out ways in which we can unite in a real way that benefits not ourselves, but the city. And the city is so important right now because we're in a time where the entire world wants to hear no story. It may not be in Atlanta. It may not be in LA or Miami.
What I wish and pray for is that the artists, the young generation, the artists out here can unite, and we would be so powerful if the artists just unite. You know what I'm saying? It's just sad to see what the young generation is going through in our city. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And stuff like that. So I pray and hope for one day that they all can figure out their differences together and just
right. And it comes from examples. Like they gotta start seeing OGs like ourselves uniting. I think this show is a great example. Me talking to you tonight. We laugh about it, and I think that's just fucking hilarious. But it don't matter how long it took us to get this show off the ground and to get you on this show. But I think that's a great step. It's an example to show others that it don't matter where we came from. It don't matter that we didn't do the same things, but we're talking. And right now, we're living in a time where, for the most part, a lot of people aren't talking. They're just not talking. We're talking at each other. We're telling each other what we got, what we don't have. We're not talking to each other.
We're talking on social media. We're not conversating though.
No,
that conversation is so important, bro. Like I talk to my guy every in a while, and we'll be texting each other, and sometimes the things that we say through text don't come out right, and I make it one way, and my man takes it the other way, and I'm like, yo, let's get on the phone. Like I can't do this texting no more. So, I like to talk on the phone now.
Me too, motherfucker. So answer your goddamn phone because I'm not a texting motherfucker. I don't like all that shit. I don't like typing a fucking book before I talk.
What did I do when you didn't remind me to do the show the day before? Like I asked you, hey, remind me.
Answer your goddamn phone, nigga. That's all I'm saying.
Because you got a damn secretary to call me the day before.
Right.
So let me call him.
And what did I say when you said that? I said, dude, I'm managing you now, motherfucker. Like that's 15%, nigga. Like, come on, bro.
Damn it. Shit.
I love my dude, man. This is what we do because we came up together, man, and it's all love, man. I'm so honored that you came on the show tonight, man. I think that's not only everything for me, but it's everything for our city, man. A lot of people didn't think you would do it, and you did.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of people didn't think you would do it, man. No. That's not important. That's not important.
Who?
You did.
Who said I wouldn't do it?
And you did, nigga. And
Who said I wouldn't do it, man? Who?
Right, you did. And you did, bro. And you didn't make me out a liar. And I'll give you an example. I'm living in Kansas City, and your face is still in the front. Like I couldn't even leave my fucking city when I wanted to. Like I was so pissed off when I left here, and I didn't want to have nothing to do with Orlando. And I went all the way to Kansas City, fucking Missouri. I still couldn't escape y'all because y'all was screaming in my ear. All I do is win, win, win. Like all I heard, I couldn't even leave here. I couldn't even leave the city in which I love, which gave me all of my inspiration, like it couldn't even leave in peace. I gotta take y'all with me, and then I'm having to explain to motherfuckers like, dude, I know these people, man. These people I grew up with, and people, it's crazy. The older you get, sometimes even your earlier stories, even your most recent stories become like fodder or lies. Like, you don't know that nigga. Like, you don't know that nigga. How the fuck you know that nigga? Like, you ain't nobody, right? Like, I'm sitting there having to not only remember the place in which I wanted to leave, but having to be reminded of the irony of it all. Like, even I'm from here. I don't want to. I hate this pose. And this motherfucker, I'm being funny as hell, but I'm just making a point that even when I wanted to escape, I couldn't, because this is my home. This is where I'm from. And even describing you guys came at a fucking argument or a debate, because people don't realize how much greatness is in our city. Beautiful.
It is.
Because it's always annexed to somewhere else. It's given to an Atlanta, it's given to a Miami, it's given to a New York, it's given to an LA, but it's never given to us. Yo, Orlando's dope, man. We got these artists. It's always given to somebody else, and that shit is fucking frustrating. And I hope, given the pandemic, giving us time to reflect on each other and our importance and our value and our history and what we've done in this community, you being one of them, I hope this is the moment that we change that fucking dichotomy, if you will.
Yeah.
Where we change that fucking outlook and say, you know what? Enough is enough. We from here. 407 day. We represent this, bro. This is our spot. And we all are contributing. Not just one motherfucker, not just two motherfuckers. All of us are contributing to bigging up the place in which we've given our entire lives to and didn't even know it.
Yeah.
And you're one of those
Welcome
motherfuckers,
back,
man.
Welcome back from Kansas City.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. And thank you for never fucking switching up on anybody. Fuck all the motherfuckers who ever thought you was fucking this or that. The person that I know that is DJ Nasty, he's always been a funny motherfucker, a quiet motherfucker. Like, I gotta go home, nigga. You've always been that person. No, I can't fuck with that, bro. I'm out. But I know that dude, and I'm honored to know that dude, man, because you did a lot for this city. And nothing will ever be written in the contrary of that. I'm honored to know you, brother.
I appreciate
Thank you.
That. Thank you very much, man. Thank you for having me too.
And you're always welcome on this show, brother. I don't give a fuck what radio station you're on, what corporate entity you represent. This is us, bro. We have a responsibility to show unity so that we get unity.
Yeah, we'll do it again, bro. Me and my brother this time.
Yes, please. Shout out to my man, Mr. Lenny. Yo, Lenny. I talked to him not too long ago at Kip's party. Shout out to Kip K.
Okay.
And and I ain't talked to that dude. I ain't talked to him in decades.
Yeah.
But I remember Lenny, and I remember what he was. And during the time that we were all like hip hop, hip hop, hip hop, he wasn't that guy. He was on, and that's the irony of things, that we're all connected, that we're all contributing, and we didn't even know it. Like, we didn't even know it. Like, all of that hip hop being so drowned in hip hop, sometimes we miss all of the people that were like, hey, I do this though. I do this though.
Yep.
And like you were saying earlier about the samples, Like we were so caught up in the samples. Sometimes we missed a lot of the people that would have played them samples, i.e. the roots.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that shit is dope. Shout out to Lenny. We love you, bro. Please come back. Please bring him on the show. Lenny, I gotta tell you a story. I can't tell my story without telling yours, Negro. Come on the show, brother.
Do it.
Come on the show, brother. And you, Johnny, Mr. Cubano, we love you, bro. And don't ever stop being you, because we're depending on you to be you, bro, so we can be we.
Thank you, bro. All love here, man. Appreciate you.
Give it up for the legendary Old Town representative, Nasty Beat Makers.
Thank you, guys.
We the best. DJ motherfucking Nasty. You already know. All my peoples, man. All my peoples. Like I said, I'm reaching out to everybody. No one is excluded. Our city will tell our story regardless to what. I just want to say, man, shout out to DJ Nasty. Shout out to all my peoples out here still carrying the flag of the O. We need that, man. It's a beautiful thing. We've laughed a lot throughout our lifetime, but to be able to live this long and still be able to laugh together, I think that's a beautiful thing. Shout out to all my peoples that checked in tonight. Danny D-Rod, my man, Big Lou, my man, Live Wire. Yo, what's good, homie? Shout out to you. Shout out to my man, Ray Swift, the legendary DJ Ray Swift. Shout out to, man, Remington Steele. Yo, you always are fucking saying some funny shit. Do not stop. Shout out to my man, Doc One, the legendary Doc One from the O. Man, shout out to all of y'all, man. This show is for you guys. Love all of you, man. This is what we're doing, man. We're talking about our city. We don't give a damn who the fuck thinks it's valuable or who the fuck thinks it's not valuable. We are talking about our city, and thank God for that, man, because we've been needed that. This is a beautiful thing. Shout out to you. Shout out to our sponsor of tonight, the legendary Jesse Jazz. What more can I say about the brother? Legendary DJ, legendary promoter, and also a legendary printer, graphic design artist. If you need any printing, any business cards, T-shirts, you name it, yo, holla at your boy. Jesse Jazz, 5-Star Graphics. I just want to say, man, thank you guys for everything, man. This thing is bigger than me. It don't matter what I might be going through. This thing is bigger than me. I'm just honored to be telling our story in a time in which we need to hear it. And this is one of those moments. I want to say thank you to everyone that supports the show. Thank you. We appreciate your support. We have shirts for sale. I'm waiting on the next shipment. I will tell you when that next shipment comes in. If you want to support the show, buy a shirt. We appreciate that. And we are the O. Sound of Orlando, baby. Let's go.
Live on stage. The sound
Of Orlando.
So, if they ready, the sound